first speaker tonight, everybody spoke really gallantly, by the way. Thank you so much for listening. Our first speaker tonight was Emily. The question she was asked was, where did you travel recently and what was the reason? And you said Bordeaux. So it was a really nicely delivered piece. You used your body really well when you were describing the areas, and you were telling us all about it. You were really engaging. The only recommendation I would have for you was that you stayed on facing this side of the audience. You sort of stayed in one spot facing this side of the audience. So maybe when you're describing, you could maybe walk with it a little bit and take us down a journey, take us down a pathway, take us down a lane. That's the only recommendation. Otherwise, it was really nicely delivered. Thank you.
Our second speaker was Eden, who was asked, have you ever wondered where we go when we are sleeping? And I really loved that Eden came up and went like, that's an easy question. And then very energetically and strongly spoke. And he used lots of movements during his speech. And at times I got a little bit distracted by all of the movements that were going on. But he made some very key points. One of them being, we don't know where we are. Something that I had never thought about, because I must say, I always thought I was in my bed. But he did ask us rhetorical questions, which always brings the audience in. And then he had what I thought was a really good ending, where he asked us another question and said, I won't answer that, leaving us on our toes thinking about this question that he asked us.
Okay, our next speaker was Geraldine. She was asked, do you fancy time travel? Which I thought was a really cool question. It could take you to any place. You delivered it really, really clearly. You spoke really well. And again, you used your arms really nicely as you were expressing your answer. Your smile was really engaging, so it was really nice to see you speaking on stage. The only recommendation I would have for you is that when you spoke at the back of the stage rather than coming forward and sharing more with the audience. So I would probably suggest you come forward a little bit more, and you can also go left and right a little bit as you're speaking. And yeah, that would be my only recommendation. Otherwise, it was really good. Thank you.
Our next speaker was Caroline, who was asked if she had the ability to time travel, where would she go? And if Eden said that's an easy question, Caroline told us this is a hard question, because she basically wants to go everywhere. But the time period that she really would like to go to is the Americas in the 1920s, because she wants to experience the era of the flappers. And I love that you did the movement. So I really got an idea of what you thought about when you were thinking about the flappers. However, at times I felt that you were very static and very, very far back on the stage. It's like it was really scary. There's all this space that we can use. And the closer you stand to the audience, the easier it is to connect it. I also don't know, is like speak at the end of sentences something that Australians do? Yeah. Because I wasn't sure if you were making statements or if you were asking questions. So thank you for clarifying this for me. And frankly, I would love to go with you to the era. It would be lovely. So thanks a lot.
Okay, our next speaker was Cecilia, who came on stage. First of all, she clarified the question, which I thought was brilliant, because she needed to be clear what she was actually answering. And finally, the question was, what is the best mode of travel for you? Couch surfing. I love it. She came onto the stage and she delivered her speech. You delivered your speech really confidently. She was expressive. She was entertaining. Quite frankly, I just loved watching her on stage. The only recommendation I would have for you, Cecilia, is when you spoke, you sort of stayed here and you faced that side of the room. So maybe when you're talking, you could turn to the whole audience. Again, you could use more of the stage. But otherwise, beautifully delivered. Thank you.
Next up was Vladimir, who got 2 tickets to go to Mars. And unfortunately, he did not mention me. I didn't get to go. However, he did make a funny joke about taking his wife, who apparently loves the shoes. And then he developed this story into this fantastic new product of material made out of stone that we can make shoes out of, which I thought was a really brilliant idea, because we got these sustainability issues on Earth, and if we could make shoes out of stones, that would be really brilliant. However, I feel that he sort of wasn't really sure where he was going with this. And, and there was a lot of thinking I felt going on, and we was looking out, going, what was going to happen next? And the ending was very, very hesitant, which I'm not really used to seeing it from you.
Okay, and our final speaker, our final speaker was Nayavi, and her question was, do you play with... That was a bit of a weird question. Do you play with your... I was like, I don't want to know what's going on in your imagination. Do you play with your imagination when you travel? But in a way, it was a weird question, but I think probably appropriate for Nayavi. Because she answered it really well. She felt really at home with that question. Because then she was telling us about spirituality and astral travelling and lucid dreaming, and this was like, this is her realm, this is what she does. So awesome. So the answer was brilliant. It was expressive. She was connected to the question. She was connected to the experience. There's passion in her delivery. The only recommendation I would have for you is that when you were talking, you were just talking and walking the whole time. You were just walking the whole time. There was no stop. There was no pause. There was no stop. There was no pause. There was no kind of. You could have stopped. You could have passionately then delivered that sentence about astral travelling and lucid dreaming. That would be the only recommendation. Otherwise, thank you so much.
Okay, and then our last speaker, truly last speaker, was Evie, and not Nayavi. And as always with Evie, you get this big, sprawling story that you have no idea where it's going, but somehow it makes sense in Evie's head. And she also had a huge fascination with the ceiling. I don't know what's going on there, but that's apparently for some people where all thoughts come from. You pull them down and they just come into your head and out of your mouth. And then suddenly you just have made a story that is fantastic to listen to. And Evie has always had fantastic stage presence, but I just wish she could have a little bit more vocal variety. Thank you. And you were all very gallant for coming up here. Thank you.